Okay. Or live, I believe. All right. There we go. Mhm. Start the recording. Mute. Right. Super. I think we are live and welcome back to Unlocking Emotional Intelligence Through Brain Talents. This is a mini guide for busy moms like you and me. And I'm on a mission to reach 1 lakh women and spread awareness on emotional intelligence and also on money intelligence through digital entrepreneurship. The reason why I'm doing is I have two big reasons, two big enemy. That is not to get into burnout and also not get into financial stress. This may be quite common for moms who are juggling multiple roles, and it is essential that we keep up our energy, resilience, and many skills which help us come out of no I mean in fact prevent to make us go to that level, because once you reach to that fatigueness and burnout where you lose your energy, you're drained out, not just with your energy, time and resources, then it is tough to come back, bounce back. So that is why we learn how to prevent going to that stage by building resilience day in and day out in all dimensions: physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, and productivity. So I always give a metaphor of chair having five legs. And if you just knock off one chair thinking that everything is going good, you're just dismissing the presence of another dimension in life. Let's say you're concentrating on business, you're successful, but your relationship at home is chaotic. It'll eventually come up to your face. So when life gets adverse, that is not the time that you look at it. It should be in a maintenance mode. Now, having said this, why this series? It is only to invoke emotional intelligence through our day to day transactions. Like, we are not learning something new, everything is within us. I'm just enabling the awareness for you so that you tap into that power, that strength in you. Whatever is working, serving well for you, you continue and you leverage that to improve the area of uh, weakness or improvement. Okay. Having said this, there is a format that we approach for the series. There's a 6 steps formula that we define anything, we pick up any skill, we'll go deeper and wider. Now, why deeper and wider is because one, this awareness is not taught anywhere. I really wish we had our school curriculum teaching us all this. Even though we had in us our own mastery experiences, or people around us would have been model for us and inspiration for us, but we hardly knew that this is what they are doing. For example, somebody could be very expressive in telling their needs and wants. They're very clear as to this is what they want. But if in my example, I didn't know that there is a way to express, because back at home in our culture, we were always told to leave the emotions outdoor. Emotions have no value, especially expressing emotions is of no room for it. So on that, on that note, it's very unconventional for us to express, and we always think that we are selfish and self-centered. We run by guilty just because we are able to put our opinion down. But later in my life, I realized that it is something that lets you be assertive, lets you be authentic, and saves your energy a lot, energy, time, and focus a lot, because you didn't know how to say no, because you didn't know how to express what you have in your mind or your heart, what you want and likes and dislikes of you, your dreams, your aspirations, because of which we are not able to set boundaries. And because of that, we just got swayed by people, emotions, outside situations. Okay. Then it took a lot of time to, process what's going on. By the time you are in the heated situation, when the life is pressing, you will not have time to think over all this. Okay. So that is the reason I'm teaching what mistakes I did, and I don't want you guys to do that same thing. Most of you on the other side would have been thinking in the same terms. It's just that I've taken a step ahead to come to you, to reach you via videos and audio, to make sure that we are aligning, we are validating each other. Maybe through my story you're getting validated, that oh, maybe this is happening to me also. Maybe it is time for me to become aware of it. Once you're becoming aware, the entire reason why I'm doing this 100 days of emotional intelligence is to bring you that awareness on a day-to-day basis. If you can just spend 30 to 50 minutes watching this, you can go deep dive into a particular skill. Just put 1.5x speed, or it is best if you could attend live. Then that's a different thing, because you're habitually making your brain to listen and become aware every day. It is giving me huge humongous benefits, because I come here for the reason to create and reach out to you, and it is becoming habit for me. Now it is an autopilot for me. I have no, what do you call? I have no second thoughts. And being creating videos is my business. And talking about the content, what I'm passionate about and what I care about is another interesting thing in this. So on top of it, it is helping people like you and me. That is why I'm doing what I'm doing. Okay. Having said this, so we will define a particular skill. We'll go deeper and wider. In essence, we will see how it is enabling your left brain and right brain activities. Emotional intelligence via brain talents, what we are deciphering is, um, I can simply say emotional intelligence is all about developing self awareness and then social skills and how do you manage that. But instead, if I can give you tools, that too, convincing your brain styles, because it's just because we are doing 100-day series, not many of you would have been following me from the beginning. So now it'll take time for you to go and watch that, and then come to a consensus. That is the reason I'm saying, just subscribe to my channel, YouTube Live. I'm also coming in Spotify podcast, doing the same topic, but in a different version and different angle, but all deriving to brain skills. By the time I tell you, this is the strength, this is the skill that you're activating for logical brain and emotional brain, then it is easier for you to get convinced. You know why? Because we're all grown up adult, and we would have hardwired our patterns, our habits, our thoughts, our belief systems, and all that. Okay, just because you're watching a video, you're not going to take an action. Maybe you will get inspiration, but if I tell you an action tips along with a case study, along with some examples, it might give you a bulb on. Okay. But the moment you get that awareness, if you can apply whatever you've learned in this episode within 24 hours, that is when you're opening up possibilities for you. Okay. Otherwise, it'll go, it'll be a yet another video you just watched. So that is why I always insist, um, especially if you stay till the episode, you will know what are the action steps, and what are the ways that you can put your brain into action immediately. By the time 24 hours you apply, then the brain gets reinstated. So it is possible for you to start rewiring, because all of us have logical and emotional brain. Now, coming to the reason why I've taken brain skills. Being an adult, we would have hardwired. Now it is, difficult for us to be convinced, whether it is, um, some of us, there are 8 different brain styles that we can operate. Okay. I am a certified consultant on emotional intelligence brain skills. So where we will take a psychometric report, and we will one-pager report. It'll just tell you exactly what are your top 6 talents on your left side and right side. So there are about 18 brain talents. Out of all that skills that we all know, what is needed for um, a person to be successful in business and life? That is all we are taking. Okay. That involves both individual and entrepreneurial and a leadership quality, all in one pager report. That will tell you which part of the brain, if you can invoke talents, the logical brain will work. And this part of the brain, if you can invoke certain talents, naturally your emotional brain will work. Okay. Because we are so hardwired from maybe through our culture, through our family, the brought up, or education system, we have been tuned in only one particular way. So most of the time, we dismiss what is happening within us and around us. We only go in terms of um, intellectual expansion. But what about emotional intelligence? Intelligence via emotions. So we don't take emotions as data, we dismiss it. And this 100 days of series that you're with me, I constantly will tell you how emotions are giving you data and how you cannot ignore. Okay. So having said this, you're taking logical data, that is facts, figures, numbers, analytics, and all that. Anyway, we are tuned to our intellectual quotient via our academics, right? We all know how to derive data, figures, and all that. Now AI has come, disruption is happening, and then it gives you a few minutes of gathering data. So we don't have to squeeze our brain at all. Now you will exactly know how the world is tuning into. Now you will also know why emotional intelligence is going to be this century demanded skill. Because now that AI is disrupting, the the human brain has no market value. But what is constant and evergreen and cannot be replaced by AI is our emotions. And the intelligence via emotions, the decisions that we take, the connection that we make, the success that we see within by ourselves and embracing other people, that cannot be replaced by AI. Having said this, so this is what is emotional intelligence. Okay, so we will define a particular skill, pros and cons to it, and I will tell you what is the advantage if you start using it, and also some disadvantages where you overuse any skill or any talent. Okay, this is a golden nugget. This nobody will tell you. I'm so radical and unconventional because brain talents are like that. The more you use anything overdo, it goes into a mastery, overdo level that you cannot rewire and come back to the mid portion because logical, emotional, and the midbrain is emotional intelligence. You may be logically driven, some may be emotionally driven, but it is essential to take a blend of both logic and emotion. And for you to come from emotionally driven extreme side to come to the midpoint, that is where you can even understand, okay, logically, I think I'm going somewhere else. So by the time you analyze this, it'll be very tough for you to rewire because we are talking about a biological organ, that is brain. It is not some skill that we are just gathering on the go. It is happening in you. All of us are activated with two sides of brain constantly, and some may be dominated with right side and some may be dominated with left side. But this series will tell you how it is important to be in the midbrain so that you can flip the switch whenever you want according to the situation. And for you to do that, it is essential that you don't overdo any particular talent. Okay, so that will be the nugget. And then we will get into directly actionable steps. That is, okay, now that you know the importance of a particular talent in your life, we'll also talk about how you can apply, where else is needed. Okay, and then we will talk about actionable steps, telling you left side and right side brain. If you do this, your left brain is activated. Now, if you do this, your right brain is activated. If you do this, maybe both brain is activated, but everything is needed. We cannot dismiss logic, neither we can dismiss the emotion part of it. Okay, then an interesting part is to look at case study, because as I always say, EQ is within us. Okay. It is within you also, irrespective of any age, gender, location, color, no religion, nothing, comes because it is all biologically driven. Brain is existing in all of us. Even a small child, let's say after 5, 6 years, they get their own personality. They start thinking on their feet and they start thinking about their own likes and dislikes. Okay, so their left brain and right brain is also activated. They will pick up the patterns. They will have some autopilot habits also. So it is important for everybody, young adult or students, toddlers. Toddlers, about 6 and 7 is when they create their personality. So anybody above 6 and 7 years, they need emotional intelligence, especially with children. We need to tell them how to express and how to communicate via emotions and how to derive data via emotions. And we have to model that. You and me as a parent have to teach our children to enable themselves to be emotionally intelligent in order to navigate a lot of challenges. Because right now it's fast paced, highly competitive. Even for an adult, it is becoming chaotic. Imagine a child who's still not expanded, how much stress the child goes through. Especially with my daughter, what we saw was from elementary to this part of the world, very progressive, and the elementary to mid school is totally huge, huge transition for the child and for the parents also. Until elementary school, they were guided, they were just coaxed, they were like treated like chocolate. But once they get into mid school, they are just on their own, right? So much so that one good thing is they are independent. They pick up their talents on the go. Second thing is the amount of pressure which is given on the transition is a little bit huge for that level. Back home in India, it's a different ball game. Throughout from elementary till high school, it'll be the same environment, modality, except the pressure of passing the exams. That's the only pressure the child will have. Otherwise, the environment is stable. And, unlike here, if you're an immigrant, constant changes. You should be ready with constant changes, very uncertain. Already, there are a lot of things that cannot be, we are so independent in many things, right? There is no support system. We cannot outsource. It's very costly out here. So we'll have to adjust in a many aspects of life. And top of it, the child has to also make sure that they are progressively working towards their studies and keeping up themselves on track. So it is huge for a child also. But essentially, as a parent, as a mom, you, if you can model that, because it is needed for your own peace and calmness, if you can model that, you will be able to model it. The children can learn from you. Okay, without much delay, I'm going to show what is there for today. And if you've been watching this, you will know there is that format that we will follow through, like I just said, until the case study. But if you stay till the episode end, you will know what there are a lot of gifts. I love giving gifts, okay? And you will know if you can take action, you will be rewarded. And that is one more mechanism for your emotional well-being, right? In essence, when we deal with people within ourselves, we constantly deal with emotions. You just cannot dismiss. And what is needed for our emotional well being is something that we have to create, or we can learn and create. Okay. So let's see. Today we are on day 21, and we are going to be talking about the power of proactivity, which can transform your career and family life. So, this is what will help you anticipate challenges, set meaningful goals, and build a future both in your career and your family life. Having said this, tell me, how much are you really think that proactivity is essential um, for your parenting or handling your family, long-term goals or current situations, and as a leader outside? Tell me one thing. It is evident that the moment you become a parent, we are naturally proactive. Am I right? Because you exactly know when your child needs milk. You exactly know when the child is hungry. You exactly know you know, when I still remember, I will be so proactive, I will be so connected that most of the moms will do, right? I know exactly when my child turns, even though I'm sleeping. Okay, I'm talking about right after the birth. So we are that proactive. The nature will, by nature, we are turning our superpower. Okay, you know why? Because it's an intense moment. Life pushes you that way, right? It's a happy thing. Having a child, it's a gift. Okay, we turn ourselves to proactive. Okay, by the time the child by the time the child grows up, and then things are becoming routine. Now, when you're in the routine is when you're getting in autopilot. That is when we kind of get into complacency mode. Sometimes routine definitely, first of all, routine definitely gives us the efficiency, but it also makes us lose the creativity of it. Present, being in the present moment, right? The reason why proactivity skills is needed is because you can plan ahead. Okay, we all do this as a young mother, and no matter what stage of life, the moment you become a parent, you are anyway naturally proactive. But we just have to make sure whether it is an autopilot that you're overdoing it, or sometimes you don't, you're ignoring that part of planning ahead. I'll tell you the symptoms of you're not being taking care of your proactivity skill. Okay, there could be a lot of impulsive reactions. You may be in the frustration, you may be in the firefighting, you may be somebody who don't like to plan, but you're pushed to plan because life takes over. So you don't have to wait for that adversity to happen. I told you there are emotionally driven persons and there are logically driven people. So for logically driven people, their planning and analysis is very important. They just cannot work on the present moment. Impromptu will not work for them. They just get jittered, right? If you put them in adventure, they just go bonkers. Okay, they need data. Okay, and somebody who's in the emotionally driven extreme, right? Imagine the extremes bubbles are here and midbrain is here. So now the person is in this side. It'll take enough time for them to even see the logic side. They might even overlook at it. Same way here. When somebody is here, they might even overlook at this because it takes enough time for them to analyze and they are not in, it's not in their comfort zone. But somebody who's in the middle, they can always look at both the sides. Okay. If you understand this, it's a very interesting concept, right? Give me in the comment box some smiley. I'll know that you're, watching this and you're able to understand what I'm saying. Okay. So, in order to be proactive, it is essential that you look at both the sides and you are in the mid portion. Okay. So that you can stay one step ahead and anticipate and tackle challenge before they arise. And then set and achieve goals. Create a clear vision for your family and your career. Build a balanced future. Take control and enjoy success at home and work. Whether you are mm, a mom who's juggling home and stepping out of, for work, or you are somebody who's working online like me, both of us need these modalities, these skills working for us. It's just that I don't travel. I'm at the comfort of my home. I don't have any boss. I don't need to punch my time cards. But I do work on my own, what do you call it? Self-monitored goals. It is tough. Being a solopreneur, it is really tough because I can go anyways. Sometimes if I just, things are going rough, I'll just take off. That could be an advantage where flexibility can kick in. But then for me to bounce back, because there is no much motivation, right? Of course, the cash and flow is there, but then you constantly have to motivate yourself. It is a different ball game when we are talking about entrepreneurship, right? Especially digital entrepreneurs, because one, the advantage of they being flexible is there, but that itself is a disadvantage because their focus and energy and time is scattered. So it'll be an interesting topic to talk about proactivity for digital entrepreneurs separately. Okay, we'll do a separate series for that. But for now, it is needed for any mom who's juggling multiple roles. And my heart goes for moms because I told you in the beginning that I'm on a mission to reach out to 1 lakh moms like me and you. Nevertheless, these skills are not needed. It's not that it's not needed for the men or for an young adult. Okay, it's needed for any gender, anybody, typically. All right. Now we'll see, quickly skim through. Now that you got the context, we're going to skim through what is the pros and cons and where it can be applied. And then we will talk in detail about actionable tips. So the power of proactivity, what does it mean? You're going to anticipate challenge, set goals, and take control. These are the keywords. Okay. You're going to plan, anticipate challenge, set goals, and then take control. So you're going to foresee roadblocks in your career and your family life. You're going to define where do you want to go from A to point B. And then you're going to take control whatever comes on your way. That is proactivity. So proactivity doesn't mean you get to solve all the problems on your life. No, you are able to proactively see through that and be able to act on it. Whether it is done 100% perfection or not, that is not something that we are looking at it. Okay. As I already said, EQ is not a perfect destination. Nobody becomes mastery in EQ. All these skills are coming under emotional intelligence, not necessarily means because life takes over and we deal with emotions within you and other people. So many dynamic situations happens, right? Not everybody are the same also. They have their own likes and dislikes. So many things can happen on the way. It's not the same situation every time. So your ability is to foresee, plan ahead, and take control. That's all it is. That taking control or solving the problem need not be 100%. Even if you are 60% able to solve the problem, at least where you completely there 100% in terms of looking at foreseeing the problems and setting goals and taking control. That's all is needed. Okay. How many of you feel relieved now? Give me the comment box, your feelings now, because you may think that it's a, it's a skill that you need to spend time, and this may not be um, practically not possible for busy moms. No, when we go deeper and wider, maybe we are extending our time in order to explain the concept. But when you start applying it, okay, when it becomes a part of you, then it is a moment to moment. It's very easy. And by the way, as I already say, this is not something new. I'm not telling you something new information. It is already within us, right? For somebody who had not thought of proactivity as a skill, this could be an awareness. Okay. Now, benefits of it. You're going to get career advancement because proactive individuals are more likely to take leadership roles. They take initiatives, they take control, they take ownership. People look at their, capacity, how they are progressing. Work-life balance, managing family responsibilities, proactively leading to harmonious home life, reduce stress, anticipating challenges, prevents last-minute crisis at home or work, greater control, being proactive reduces anxiety and frustrations in daily life. Absolutely. Yesterday, we saw this episode. In case you've not watched this previous episode, go to that. We would have seen in depth about what happens in your daily transactions and how proactivity is going to help you there. But today, we are angling in terms of handling both career and family work balanced, harmonious way. So on that angle, how can a career woman can see through, because a career woman being a busy professional, you just cannot afford yourself to go deep dive into family transactions. You are able to make sure it is harmoniously happening. Okay. For that ability, what you need. And when you're a stay-at-home mom, the entire focus could be on family because you don't have an extra responsibility there. On that angle, how much can you be, staying calm under pressure, and how can you bring a harmonious effect on everybody's whoever is involved in the family, and how can you think for long term? How can you navigate challenges? How can you proactively plan and take smarter decisions? Okay. Now, this is a different angle for a career woman balancing both career and family. Now, this is where it's tricky. There could be potential drawbacks when you overdo this because why? It becomes an overload. Taking on too much responsibility can lead you to burnout. That is exactly just now I said. For a career woman, one, she has to manage the home because she cannot dismiss the family routines. It's going to get chaotic. Second thing, she's also responsible for career. Now, how much do you think the energy and time can be split? Practically, it is only that much she can spend. So, for that much spending, if she can proactively handle, then it is successful for her. Suppose she's overdoing on it. We all do this, right? We get ridden by guilt. And we tend to think, okay, this is our family. And even though we are working, we will be thinking about what is the dinner and what is my kid doing and how will I go and reach out to my kid immediately while you are supposed to be delivering the work. All of us do this. So that is a burnout symptom. The more you do on that, it burn out. And over planning. So rigidly sticking to plans may cause frustration and unexpected events. The reason why I say I always insist on harmony, not balances. Balancing is perfection work. If you just go off balance, you're going to fall off. But harmony is you let yourself go off because you know how to bounce back, come back. You let yourself go off in family, right? And then you know how to bounce back. When I say let yourself, that means we are not talking about letting the family go down. All I'm saying is you tell yourself that it is okay, that you are good enough, and there are a lot of things which is not in your control. So you're going to consider that not so many things in control, and you're going to work only on those things which is in control. So that way, you know exactly how to anticipate the ones which are not in your control. And you're going with the flow. Because once you go with the flow, you know anyway there is an upside. But if you're trying to balance saying there should never be a downside at all, then it leads you to frustration because it is very difficult to maintain that balance for anybody, humanly not possible. Right? At the same time, you being proactive is will not let you down because you are anticipating prior. You're 10 steps ahead in at least thinking through, because you know why? You will be taking into consideration of the logical data like patterns, trends, mistakes, and then projections, estimates. You see how both the brain is needed. It'll be interesting for you to see how the strategies, when we start discussing about it, you will know how these both brains are needed in order to develop any skill that we are talking in emotional intelligence. And then the last one is constant pressure. Feeling the need to always stay ahead will be exhausting. That is why the word called harmony. Type in the comment box harmony. Okay. You say, I am willing to harmoniously work for my life and family, my business. So from today onwards, we will not look for balance because that is only perfection syndrome. And perfection is a myth. Progress is real. Type in the comment box, perfection is myth and progress is real. Okay. All right. So importance of proactivity in career, you're going to seek opportunity because proactivity look for chances to grow and advance in your career. You're going to develop skills, continuously improve your ability to stay competitive and network. You're going to build a professional relationship that can go into new opportunities. Importance in family life, you're going to plan ahead, organize family schedules and responsibility in advance. Communicate, foster can open dialogue and understanding family members. And you're going to anticipate needs, prepare for family challenges before they become problems. Okay. Statistics on proactivity. Now, having said this, what is happening outside? In real world, what is the weightage given for proactivity? It says there is a study by Forbes says proactive employees are more likely to be promoted. Imagine there's a class of kids, okay? Now, when the question is asked by the teacher, how many of the kids will raise their hands? Most of the kids. Why would they do it? Because they want to be proactively grabbing that opportunity. They want the attention of the teacher. Okay, so they all raise their hands. Suppose you are a teacher and you look at the kids who raise the hand and you're giving them opportunity to tell the answer. One of, few of them couldn't tell the right answer. Do you call them proactive? And what about the kids who raised hand and was able to tell answers? Who will you call them proactive? So that is exactly you should remember. Proactive doesn't mean only planning ahead, right? It is also problem solving. That is why we saw in the last episode, these two components are very important. And for people who get promoted, they do both these. They plan ahead, they grab the opportunity and deliver it. So who benefits? Ideally everybody, but typically professionals who are aiming for career advance and work-life balance, parenting wanting to better manage their family responsibilities, and entrepreneurs, business owners needing to drive growth proactively. Absolutely. And proactivity at home can happen how you can organize, plan ahead for busy mornings by preparing the night before. This could be one strategy. And communicate, hold regular family meetings to discuss plans and concerns. Delegate. Assign responsibility to family members to share the workload. Do you think by doing this, what is going to happen? You're going to save your time and energy. And you will have a bandwidth to think creatively to solve problems. Suppose you're not organized. What's going to happen? It's going to pile up on you and you will react. Frustration. And suppose you don't communicate to your family. They will be hit by surprise. They do not know what to expect from you. Again, frustration and stress load. Okay. And then the trust is also not there. Suppose you're open enough to discuss with them, brainstorm, then they are also prepared. They know exactly where you stand, and you can also know where they stand. So there is an harmony. And suppose you think we all do this, right? We don't want to delegate, especially certain things when it comes to kids and kitchen, because, we don't want to get messy over there and we don't want to rework on it. Correct. So, in order to be harmonious, in order to make sure that you are not getting into burnout, it is very important to do these three. One, outsource. Okay. If you're in your home country, it is very much possible. But when you're outside, it is getting difficult because one, it's labor is expensive and labor is scarcely available. So outsourcing may not be the option. Let's talk about what is available within us, within our control. One is delegating. If you know that it is important, but at the same time you are not able to do it, then it is better to delegate. Whom can you delegate? You can only delegate within your family or maybe the trusted sources outside. Okay. Assign that responsibility to family members to share the workload. Now, this belongs if it is something to do with family. But if it is your business, you might as well want to outsource it because you want that time, bandwidth, and energy. It is best that you outsource, and maybe the expertise will take care of it, and you can take care of the creative part of it. Okay. But with when it comes to maintaining the workload and juggling between roles where you cannot outsource, it's best to delegate. And then the next option is to automate. Suppose you can automate certain things like picking up groceries or shopping carts and making use of mobiles, which can save your time of getting into reminders and all that. There are many things, right? There are tools and apps available for you to exercise this. If you can automate, and there are gadgets even for kitchen or wherever you think the home can be improved with the use of gadgets, because that's going to automate your transactions, save your time and energy. That can be possible in life and business. Okay. Always aim to automate things in your life. That will ease up your workload. Then comes, if you cannot delegate, neither can you automate. It is best to delete it from your life. Maybe that is not serving you. If it is so important, if your values are aligned to it, you would rather be the priority will change. The reason why you've not looked at it and it is still piling up is because it is not, needed for your life, or maybe the priority is still not there. In which case, it is ideal to say no. Okay. Very kindly, not burning the bridges. It can even with people or process or situations. So have the courage to see whether it is serving you or not and be ready to detach yourself from that. That way you can serve your time and energy. Okay. I hope this helped you. Type in the comments DAD, DAD formula. And then proactivity at work. How is it going to help you? You're going to lead projects, volunteer to take charge of initiatives to showcase leadership skills, and you're going to improve skills, continuously learn and develop to stay ahead in your field, and build networks. Proactively connect with colleagues and industry professionals. So, by doing so, you are ahead in the game, and it is bound to happen that you will get opportunities prior to other people. That is how you will look at proactivity as a power in your life and career. Now, certain people are not able to. Why are we not able to be proactive? There could be some reasons. We need to look at that. One is to avoid burnout, because balancing proactivity with self care and relaxation is where you can come out of this barrier. Because when you have to be proactive, I told you, you need to plan ahead. Sometimes overthinking can happen, over planning can happen. That will lead you to proactive. How do you overcome that? You have to take care of yourself. You need to take a pause, take a break. Your me time is important. Only then you rejuvenate, your creative brain can start working. If you are stuck with only planning thinking and then stuck with the routine thing, you're not breathing, then the creativity cannot happen. Sometimes the same measures of planning and doing is also not working. So you should be able to really see through, take a review, and work on feedback, take multiple perspectives, and change it. For that, you need a break to see. It should be cyclic. So you work for 6 days and take a break for one day is because you regenerate, and thereby your overdoing can come to an extent where it is moderate. And then managing expectation, setting realistic goals to prevent overwhelming yourself. Sometimes maybe if it is really strength in you that you are really good at proactivity, sometimes people want to take over that, right? I mean, they approach you because you have the skill. Now, when you know that you're very good at it, we might tend to either overlook at it or overdo that. That is where it's getting tricky. So you should be able to set realistic goals for yourself and for others, and then embrace flexibility. Suppose it's gone wrong, it's totally okay. Because you know you have the skill in you, you can still plan ahead and learn from that mistakes. So you should be willing to adjust plans when circumstances change also. Things like pandemic or sickness in the family or your own health is getting deteriorated, you just need to take break and take that into consideration. And you will also have to have a backup plan, whether it is for family or for career. Anyway, in organization, we all do this, performance planning, and we do a lot of things. It's a very structured format. It's the same thing needed for your family also. At every stage of life, we need not just as a parent for your, taking care of your toddlers alone, it is important to have a contingency plan at every stage. That can all come only when you start acting on the skill. Now it's an interesting part where we will quickly dive into actionable tips for you. Now that you know the importance of it, where you can apply, now you will have to know how you are going to approach. How will you apply that? First thing is setting clear priorities. As I just said, identifying the goals. Define what's more important in your career and family life and create plan accordingly. Make a weekly schedule outlining the top priorities and your value system. If it is not aligned to your values, you will anyway have a tough time to manage it. Okay. And then review regularly. Assess and adjust your priorities as needed. Taking initiative at work, identifying the gaps, look for areas where improvement can be made, propose solutions, suggest innovative ideas to address the challenges, implement changes, often offer to lead the implementation of your proposed solutions. Now, let's see how we can implement the same thing in life. You're going to identify the gaps. Suppose you are a parenting, you are in parenting role, and you feel some problem coming out of there's some issue with your children, maybe from school or their behavior, their approach in life. All you're going to do is identify the gaps in it. And then you're going to propose solutions by brainstorming or asking the child itself. We have discussed in many episodes in the previous time that how to, open up communication with your child. That way you are bringing up innovative ideas. And then you're going to offer that changes to make sure that you're preparing the other party. Suppose you're not telling them ahead. You remember we just saw open communication is equally important so that when you plan ahead, the rest of the people are also prepared for it. It is so very important for your team. When you're working as a team, you're going to, communicate. Constant communication is important. And then planning family schedule. Um, how do you plan? We just spoke. Make use of gadgets and apps. Digital tools are always available. And then visual planners, right? For your vision board or to-do list so that it is visible and in your near your eyes every time you go and walk over the place. It's the same thing in your organization setup. So it is best that it is there near the eyes so that you get the sight of it, you don't overlook at it. And regular meetings and constant communication, even if it is family, it's important to constantly communicate with each other so that any problems is not overlooked. You you already know. Imagine the power of taking control by being aware of what is happening already. Okay, that is where proactivity lies. You're going to encourage open communication, right? Having a regular check-ins, How do you address the teams? At home, create a safe place for family members to express their needs. Very, very important. When you do a constant communication, obviously you're going to connect with that person and you're going to create that vulnerable, that safe space for people to become vulnerable. Only when there is an open and honest communication can you actually plan for something. Because if you think, if you have a misunderstanding, and if you have missing elements, or if you don't have an adequate information about somebody because they're not opening up, neither were you able to create that safe environment for them, then your planning is going to go for a toss. Correct. Because they may not be falling in place. It's the same thing applied to your team, for which you're going to actively listen. Practice actively listening to understand other people's perspectives fully. Only then your ability to think through for them will be successful. And then you're going to anticipate challenges. Now that you're fully aware, and exactly you're able to also set goals. Okay. You know about aware, you have your self-awareness, you have awareness about others. Your goal is also very clear. Now, what you have to know is from point A to point B, what are the roadblocks? If you can identify that and develop contingency plan, have a backup plan, and you are also ready to be flexible, then what big can happen? Anything which happens, you can always navigate it. You see how beautifully one step at a time and small little things matters a lot. Balancing work and family, you're going to set boundaries. Apart from all this, okay, let's say you're doing it appropriately, what is needed, in order to create that kind of a plan, and you're able to plan ahead, and you can see through, but still there is an imbalance in your family life. What could be the missing elements? One, you're not able to set boundaries because having prepared, there is a communication happening, but if you do not know, if you cannot process your emotions, if you cannot say no, you know, understanding your energy capacity, time bandwidth, and your needs and wants, or if you cannot do so for others, then it is not going to work out. You should be able to say no so that you are focusing on the yes ones. And you should allow other people to also say no. And they should also be focusing on their yes. But there should be a convergent point when it comes to family. And similarly for work. So that is why you're going to prioritize tasks. Because when you know the common goal, all of us, the parties involved, can prioritize and be present so that we give full attention to family and work. Right? Case study, very interesting. Again, Sheryl Sandberg, because we just recently discussed about her, how despite of Meta, when the transition happened from Facebook to Meta, there was a lot of adversities happening from the company end and also personally for her. So she lost her husband, and then even though she had a personal adversity, the the ability she demonstrated in order to navigate that personal challenges and also be able to transition that uh, you know critical responsibility that during the adversity, how she transitioned the company goals. So that shows a lot about something happening within them. It is not, it is like a, underneath the iceberg, right? Anytime it can explode it has the power to pierce through the iceberg itself. But how much of a self-control, how much of a self-management and awareness is required for that person to demonstrate that ability? As a woman, as a person going through the grief and also be able to handle the high stake responsibilities is extremely powerful. So I thought it's an ideal example how she was able to be very clear in her priorities, even though it's an adversity personally, right? She was able to set clear goals for both career and family. And delegation. She effectively delegated tasks she should have from, for work and home. And then open communication. So transparent dialogue in all areas of life definitely helps. So similarly, like her, what is the key message here? We all have the wisdom in us, but when there is a heated situation, we jitter. Why? Because we have not exercising that skill. Imagine a grief, a death is encountering the death in the family is not an easy task. So how much of that temperament, how much of a self-control a lady should have, and also uh, demonstrating in the men-dominated industry is very powerful for a woman to go through that way. And it only shows that we all have that wisdom within us. We just have to tap it. And tapping that power only when there is an adversity will only toll you more, will only take you to that extreme end. So instead of that, if you can work on it every day, then it is like building that muscle in us every day so that it will come to our rescue when it is needed. Okay. Some emotional impact of proactivity is gives you fulfillment. If you can plan ahead and think through at your feet, not just for yourself, for others, what amount of fulfillment we'll have, right? Even though it is not 100% done, but at least you managed it like a pro. So proactivity leads to sense of accomplishment and satisfaction and balance. Achieve harmony between professional ambitions and family responsibilities and growth. Continuously, personally, professionally, you're growing because these proactive changes, proactive steps will definitely help you look for more growth and opportunity. And you will be picked because you're planning ahead. You will be 10, 20 steps ahead than people who could not plan. Those who cannot plan cannot see the roadblocks and they cannot navigate it, right? Not every time they can be lucky to impromptu act. Proactivity in communication. Now we have seen a different angle, right? We have seen the case studies, and now we are in a different angle to see how we can go deeper into those intangible areas. So, family, you know exactly where they're existing. Work, existing because there is a setup already. But communication, it is an intangible area, right? How can you be proactive in that? Initiative conversations. Start important discussions before issue arise. That is called proactivity. You're not just waiting for that thing to happen, just wait and watch, right? Active listening. Pay attention to others' needs and concerns. You will get cues because you want to tackle the roadblocks ahead, right? Which means you should be really be able to understand the cues of what's going on around you and then be able to follow up. Consistently check on discussed topics and plans to make sure that they are on track. Otherwise, again, you need to be proactive to understand what is the missing element and what could be the roadblock ahead. And then proactive time management. So without time management, you just cannot plan and take action. How will you do that? You need to prioritize tasks and for which you need to be value aligned and goal aligned, long term goal aligned. So without prioritizing your task, you will lose your boundaries, you will go into burnout, and you will start managing everything which comes on your way. Okay. So high impact activities and low impact activities, the distinctions you should know what is serving you well and what is not. You should be able to say a no for those which is not in your, cup of tea. And you should also know which one you can take control and which one you cannot take in control. And usage of tools. Leverage productivity apps and planners to stay organized. Why not? In fact, for me to automate, you remember the DAT formula, right? So I took the privilege to go for a shopping. There was one time, I think last year or so, 1 or 2 years back, when Thanksgiving Day is a very huge thing here, right? So I used to have a good amount of shopping list, and by the time I saw some discounts coming on, I just plunged on it. You know why? Because I know it's been 2 years since I got those gadgets in kitchen, and it's been really helpful. It's like a smooth ride for me. Before that, it kind of a little struggle because we had the conventional systems. But with gadgets, it's reducing our time and energy. And it's making, I mean, it's a good quality food. Of course, there are certain areas that we might compromise. But right now, it's instead of going for a fast food or venturing outside, you might as well buy the gadgets which can help you save your time and energy. And you can pursue your interest or cook from home. You don't have to necessarily venture out just because you don't have time bandwidth to do it. So that way, kitchen gadgets helps a lot. And I think as a busy mom, it is very important to have those gadgets at home. Okay. If you want to know which are those gadgets, just ping me. I'll let you know personal note. and then maybe you can make use of it if you are in this part of the world, in US. There are other ways to also uh, buy those gadgets. As long as it'll be interesting to see what gadgets helps you. As long as something is automated, as long as something is serving you, giving you that freedom from time and stress, I'll be the first one to know, and I'll be the first one to share it with you. Okay. And then regular reviews also. You need to look at, um, even though you are very pro at using all this technology, it's important to assess and adjust your allocation periodically, and also review on the tools and gadgets before you buy. Now, with having said this, how are you going to develop a proactive mindset? First, self-reflect. You need to, first of all, understand where you stand. And for that, I have a tool I'll just explain to you in a bit. Okay, just hang on there. You will have to regularly assess your strength and weakness and your goals and actions. Positive thinking, focus on opportunities rather than obstacles, because anyway, you're going to get prepared. So once you're prepared, you will have the strength and power and grace to handle whatever comes. So you will have right now the bandwidth to look at uh, the creative ones. You take more risk. Now that you have already an experience, you can take a review. If it has helped you in the previous time, you're just going to follow the same thing. Thereby, you will have the bandwidth to take in more risk, right? Not going to take more risk in the sense you can work for your opportunities and continuous learning. Seeking new knowledge and skills to stay ahead is very important. How can that happen when you constantly overthink? You just have to start taking action. That is why proactiveness has two elements in it. One is planning and then taking action, so that you don't overplan, neither you overdo on only taking actions without thinking through. Okay. Now, the long term benefits of proactivity: career success, family harmony, and personal fulfillment. With having said this, how will you assess that whether you now this could be a burning question. You want to know whether do you are you really proactive or not? Maybe from all these strategies and cues, by now you can assess whether you are there or not. But technically, I can give you a questionnaire with multiple options, which will be tricky for you to understand. It's a fun thing. It's not an easy options where you just tick and get your score. No, it will make you think. That way, you're learning there also. Okay. And also, from 2 days back, I have made this quiz into a quiz and tips format where under each headline, I will be giving you options to choose. You will get to know what is the right answer because you will get the scores, and there is a personalized summary with the right answers coming to you. Along with that, there is also 3, 4 tips for each question, each headline. Okay. That will come to you along with those scores. So, which means right at, within few minutes time, you will get to assess where you stand, and you will also get to know where you have to go using those tips. If you're interested, if you want to make use of it, there is a link given in the description that is there for awareness quiz bundles. Take that, it is going to be available for all 100 days. Whatever talents and whatever skills that we will be discussing, deep dived, you will find the questionnaire and relative tips for you. So make use of that. It will be there for you, lifetime access and instantly available. But the only thing is, it will be cost. If you want to get a free access, all you have to do is share your top learnings, just top 3 learnings. You're going to engage in the comment box and win that 100% free coupon code. Put your comments, your insights as learning there. It will reinstate in your brain, and you're going to apply that within 24 hours time. And it is also an inspiration for me and for people who are watching. And top of it, the moment I see your comments, I'll give you the 100% free coupon code onto your email ID. Okay. It's a win-win for everybody. And most importantly, you are sincere about your growth and learning. That is what, means a lot for me. And that is why I love to give gifts. Okay. Another invite, if you want to go deeper and wider and instantly, if you want to learn something like, let's say, proactivity or critical thinking, maybe you're, going through something in your life and you want to really, address that, I'll give you an invite for my masterclass. There's a link given in the description. It'll tell you when it is going to happen. Just register, and whenever it is going to happen, you'll get notified. There, I'll open up the brain brain talent reports. It's a psychometric, it's a sample report where you will see exactly what we are talking. Right now, whatever you are talking, you will see that in the report. And you will also get to know how to get your report and action point. So we will pick up your strength, the top talents, and areas of improvement. Directly, we will start working on your goals. That is where, when you have a consultation with me, we'll go deeper and wider and instant strategies for you to work on it. I'll also keep a monitor uh, until you win those goals. Okay. So all that will be discussed in the masterclass. How do we approach? How do you start with it? All that will be discussed there. So click that link and register. Apart from this, there are a lot of free resources. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for this YouTube live for 100 days. Whenever I come online, you'll get notified. Second thing is there's a Spotify podcast I'm doing for the entire 100-day series in a very short and uh, straightforward series where you will immediately jump into action strategies on the fly, on the go. You can listen to it. And if you are a person who likes stories, I'm also giving an article, uh, you know, teaching you, imparting knowledge on emotional intelligence skills in a storified format, what happens in an Indian home setup. So you can see yourself, you can relate, and just close your eyes and relax to see this is what is happening within you. And that way you can connect as to how emotional intelligence can be brought into your daily transactions of life. So Substack platform link is also given in the link description. Subscribe that so that you will get notified whenever I publish an article. Okay. Having said this, always remember, when you're working on emotional intelligence skills, we are dealing with your brain, which is a biological organ. It needs workout. It's like a muscle that you need to work on it every day. And no skill will be given to you. You cannot learn any skill overnight, over weekend, or over one episode. It takes time. So until you find your sweet spot, continue to learn, continue to exercise these muscles. I'll see you tomorrow with another talent, with another skill. Until then, take care, stay EQ'd. Bye bye.